The Habs get smoked by Tampa in a building they haven't even won in since 2019, and I'm seeing some Habs fans in the comments and social media everywhere hit the panic button, say it is time to officially tank for superstar Connor Bedard. I don't think that's necessarily the case, and I'll be getting into my reasoning for that in this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's game reaction edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse. Unfortunately, Jesse couldn't be here to record this video, so hopefully he'll be back here for the next one. But in the meantime, guys, still about 70% of you guys who are watching are not subscribed to our content, and we have daily videos for you guys. So if you enjoy our content, if you want to stay up to date on all things Montreal Canadiens, this is the place to be. So let's get into this game. Montreal comes into Tampa. It's Amalie Arena's a building they haven't had a whole lot of success in the past number of years. Andrei Vasilevskiy comes in 10-0 with a 1.79 goals against average in his last 10 versus Montreal. This just looked like either a game where Montreal would finally gain their footing again, or a game where they just get, blown off the stage and completely destroyed. And unfortunately for us fans, it was the latter. From the opening puck drop, Montreal was just outmatched, outclassed, out everything by Tampa Bay. One thing I noticed throughout this whole game, a common theme, it just felt like Montreal had no effort. And I find that a little interesting because, yes, while the first game coming back after the Christmas break, 3-4 days these guys have off, they spend time with family, it's not super coordinated, and of course Montreal's had some travel issues recently, messing up some of their practice schedules. You still expect to see a decent effort with some fresh legs, right? You've been resting. Montreal's had a pretty tough schedule this first part of the season, and they've been playing quite a lot. You'd think that they'd have some fresh legs coming into this game, especially with the amount of rookies playing tonight. We had 5 rookie defensemen, something that hasn't happened in Habs history with the debut of Justin Barron this season. Of course, he played a few games last season as well, but no. All these things that point to Montreal maybe coming in and having a spark and trying to start this post-Christmas push off with a bang, and no, nothing happened. It felt like there was just nothing going for them, and from the first 2 minutes of the game, we saw that. An early goal against where Montreal blew some defensive coverage, and Jake Allen gives up a goal less than 2 minutes into the game, and that's been a common theme for him and Montreal in his starts, where the defense just seems to let Tampa get what they want, and it was incredibly frustrating. But we thought maybe later in the first period, Montreal would come back and they would do something with this power play. You know what? We're almost in the new year. Maybe it'll be a case of new year, new Montreal. But no, the power play was maybe the worst I've ever seen tonight. We started to get some shots. Jack-Eye was lobbing them on net. We saw some shifts around where the players are playing. We got Doc up top. We still have Suzuki and Caulfield in the same spots. But Tampa's defense was just stymieing us. We couldn't get anything going. We could hardly get any high-danger chances, and for the first couple power plays of the game for Montreal, it felt like Tampa Bay was getting more chances shorthanded than we got on the power play. Just utterly frustrating. And on top of that, after these power plays where we're not doing anything, we're just turning the puck over, and Montreal just couldn't do anything. I saw a tweet after the first period saying Montreal was lucky that they came out of the first period only down 2-0, because no line on Montreal had more than a 34% shot share, and that essentially means how many shots your team has versus the opponent. So I forget which line it was. It might have been the Slavkovsky, Dvorak, Anderson line. I'm not sure, but one of them had a 34% shot share, meaning they got 34% of the shots while they were on the ice. But in the first period, get this, the Suzuki, Caulfield, and Armia line, which, first of all, I don't know why San Luis is trying to put Armia on the first line. It's an experiment. It's a disaster. Just put Doc back there. We need something from these guys in the first line. They're the only ones who have proven game in and game out they can get anything going. And Armia was holding our first line back again for the second time. When he's been playing with Suzuki, the line's been terrible. We need to split them up. But regardless, that Caulfield, Suzuki, Armia line had a 0% shot share. They didn't get a shot when they were on even strength with that line on the ice. Absolutely ridiculous. Going into the second period, too, and it's not even like Tampa was at full strength either. Yeah, they're the more talented team. They have the Stanley Cup pedigree. They're expected to win this game, and so they should. Montreal starting 5 rookie defensemen, you got to capitalize on that. But even so, Montreal still needs to generate some chances offensively, and Vasilevskiy didn't look at his best either. There were multiple times where Vasilevskiy was bobbling a simple puck that came to him, making some weird plays. There was a play where he knocked the puck down in front of him, tried to play it, fanned on it, and Kirby Dach almost had an easy goal. But all that's to say, Montreal's power play looked terrible. We looked outclassed, including that Braden Point goal where he skated through 4 Habs players, Christian Dvorak especially, put in no effort to stop him. None of those 4 Habs players, all of them are to blame. I think Dvorak probably the most. Beautiful goal by Point. I gotta give him props. That's gonna make the highlight reels. It'll make that, top plays of the year list. Unbelievable. Props to him. But Montreal had no effort tonight. Offensive end or defensive end. Even that Hagel goal later in the second period, just shot on Allen. Great save. Allen's been making great saves all over the game because his defense has been leaving him out to dry. And he just gets beat because no one is touching the guy right in front of the net. It's effort. It's pure effort, and you'd think that a young team, a bunch of guys who have something to prove, especially on the back end with the likes of Jackeye, with the likes of Barron, who made his season debut, with the likes of Guhle, who actually was really good tonight. I will say Guhle was our best player by far. I thought he had a phenomenal game defensively and offensively, of course also scoring late in the game with about 3 minutes left to break Vasilevsky's shutout. But these guys have something to prove, and it just felt like nothing was working. They couldn't stop the Tampa Bay offense. They weren't blocking shots. The presence of David Savard has missed so much. It feels like we're just not putting our body on the line in front of pucks. We're not hitting guys as much. When we're in the offensive zone, even on the power play, we can barely gain control of the puck in there to start an offensive possession. We're getting outworked everywhere. Montreal's players, especially the young guys I noticed, were not doing what they need to do to help this team win. So I'm naturally seeing fans say, well, that's it. I mean, it's time to tank. Look, we brought up Justin Barron. Anthony Richard and Pizzetta are on our 4th line somewhat consistently now. It's time to just hit the full reset button. Look at Connor Bedard. After tonight's game versus Germany, he's sitting at 8 points. He is looking like by far the best player in the World Juniors. Canada's best player by far. 4 goals, 4 assists, including a beautiful snipe today on the power play against Germany. He's looked phenomenal. And Habs fans are saying, let's just tank. Let's just go for him. Let's just try our best to get him because at this point the season's lost. And with all due respect, what are you guys talking about? Not just in the comments section, but on Reddit, on Facebook. I know I shouldn't be looking at Facebook or Twitter for these comments. And I understand the point that you're trying to make. Connor Bedard is worth more than any win this season would do for our development. But my reasoning is, think of it this way. If we tank, if we lose every single game for the rest of the season, we have, at most a 20, maybe 25% chance of landing the first pick if we are last in the league. It might even be less than that. Would you really be willing to just toss this season away, cause these guys to get upset with a terrible, struggling team the whole rest of the season? Do you want to root for these guys to lose the rest of the way just for that fraction of a chance at Bedard? I mean, maybe. He does look amazing, right? I'm super hyped for Bedard. I think he'll be amazing wherever he lands, but I don't think we can root for our guys to lose. Success breeds development. Success breeds motivation, and motivation breeds development. If these guys are winning, the squad we have on the ice right now, if we can get back to our early season ways where we were outworking teams, our power play was clicking, the movement was smooth. Yeah, we've had a lot of injuries. That's definitely partly to blame. But we can get back to a decent team. We're not going to make the playoffs, but we're going to try and win some games. I'm rooting for these guys night in, night out. I'm upset when teams score against us. I'm hyped when we score, especially tonight. Even that Guhle goal to get something going, right? Some positive to end the night on. Because Connor Bedard, while an amazing, amazing prize for whoever gets him, winning breeds motivation. Motivation breeds development. These guys need to win. They need to see pucks go into the net. We need Slavkovsky to score some more goals. We need Caulfield to get back on track, get back up to his 50-goal pace. Maybe even if not 50, keep him here at the 40-goal pace. We want Suzuki to be a point-per-game player. There are so many things we want to see this season that might end up being better than tanking every single game for Bedard. Do I think Montreal is going to ever hit the panic button and just say, no, we're going to try and lose every game? No, of course not. That's not what these NHL players do. These guys want to win badly. They hate when they lose. Do you really think in the locker room, Suzuki and Caulfield, they're saying, gosh, well, it'd be great if we had Bedard on our team so we could win next year? No, they're not. But like I said, I understand everyone's perspective saying, Connor Bedard is a franchise changer. And he sure does look like it. I totally get that. But at the same time, I'm rooting for these guys to win. If we end up getting Bedard, I'll be happier than anyone. But I want these guys to try. I want St. Louis, Burrows, Hughes, Gorton, anyone to change something up in Montreal. Ship out some of our veteran defensemen. Just ship out Edmondson. Go ship out Mike Hoffman. Go ship out Anderson if you need to. Something to bring another spark to the team. Maybe Guhle and Monahan coming back could be that spark to give us another little boost and get these guys back to where they were earlier in the season. But, I mean, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button yet. I don't think it's time to say, let's go full tank. Yes, I love Bedard, but I want to see these guys win even more, and I hope I can change some of your guys' minds on that. I know I probably won't for everyone, especially with how good Bedard has looked in these World Juniors, but all that said, this game was a bit of a disaster. There's a lot to learn. A couple positives with Guhle scoring and Suzuki looking okay, Doc looking fine as well. Slavkovsky had a decent game, so some positives, a lot of negatives, but at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game, hoping Montreal can bounce back from this brutal, brutal loss. That'll do it for this game reaction edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We have daily Montreal Canadiens content for you guys, all news, all rumors, all game reactions right here at Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse. We'll catch you in the next one.